Hey, what is up, my fearless networking friends? Todd Falcone here today with another episode. Today's discussion is going to be on the concept of getting good, of mastering this craft. How do you become exceptional at building network marketing businesses? How do you get yourself into that position? You know, granted, there's tons of people that are not very good at this, and yet and they ask the question like, how do I get good? They're curious, which I think is a beautiful thing. That inquisitive, curious nature is one of the things, in fact, that I do believe will lead you to greater successes, because if you're willing to ask, if you don't understand something, you don't know how to, you don't comprehend it, you're like, hey, can you explain that to me? Can you clarify for me? If you're just willing to ask, somebody who you know knows more than you do, you're likely to get an answer, right? Ask, receive. If you don't ask, you don't get. So that's part of it. But what's fascinating to me, and I think probably as a speaker and a trainer that's traveled around for the last, 16 years or so, the thing that frustrates me more than anything is people that say that they want to get good, then you give them the tools that you know will help them get good, and they don't act upon it. So I did a training recently, and this exact subject matter came up, so I figured I'd come in here and talk to a broader audience about it. But I think it's really important. Like, you gotta ask yourself, if I'm going to do this network marketing thing, do I want to do it efficiently, or do I want to do it inefficiently? Do I want to put time in and get real good results in the time that I put in, or do I want to put a bunch of time in and flop around and flounder, right? I mean, I don't think you want to flop around and flounder. So if that's the case, if you truly want to be like, hey, I want to move my way towards mastery. And what is mastery? I'm not going to go into the dictionary and look up the definition, but it's like, I just hear the word. It's like, I'm exceptional at it. I'm really good at it. I've mastered that craft. I'm good, right? I'm not like novice, new, unsure. We can go look up the exact definition if you really think you need to, but I think when we think about mastering something, that means we have, we're very good at it, right? So I think it would be a great idea, if you're going to be involved in network marketing, to get very good at it. So when I teach this concept of improvement, one of the things that I'm always talking about is, look, do yourself a favor. Look back in your life. Look at something that you're really good at. And most people are really good at one thing, if not several things. Maybe you're a great piano player. Maybe you're great at cooking. Maybe you're great at gardening. Maybe you're great at whatever it might be. But there's something, or more than one thing, that you probably excelled at in your life. And so when you look at those things, and I think this is an important starting point, is looking at those things and going, okay, how did I get good at those things? Like, in my opinion, how you get good at one thing is how you're going to get good at everything, which is very different than, the phrase, how you do one thing is how you do everything. I know I said that before in the past, probably 15 years ago, but the truth is, I don't really believe that how you do one thing is how you do everything, because there's areas of my life where I do exceptionally well at, and then there's areas of my life that I, probably lack in. So, but in terms of this concept of improvement, which improvement, progress is what leads to, you're sharpening your saw, you're sharpening your knife, you're making yourself more efficient. It leads to better results, right? So how do we go about doing that? First thing I would suggest doing is looking at something that you've done in the past, and how did you get good at that thing that you did in the past. So if we look specifically, and I'll give you some ideas here on network marketing, and I'm speaking generally in network marketing, prospecting and recruiting, leadership, team building, speaking, being in front of the camera, for example. All of these things are part of the stuff that we might do in network marketing. And my thought is, like, if you're going to be on camera, you probably want to be pretty decent on camera. If you're doing a Facebook Live, you probably want to be pretty decent doing a Facebook Live. If you're having to speak in front of an audience at your national conference, you probably want to be pretty good at that. If you're engaging somebody in conversation about your product or your business, you probably want to be pretty good at that. So how do we get good at this? Well, the way we get good at this is the way we get good at anything, and it requires some work, right? It requires a decision that you're going to, that you're going to progress. You're not going to just go through the motions. I'm not going to just get up and just go do it, get up the next day, just go do it, get up the next day, just go do it. Now for sure, doing it is one way to improve, as long as you're present of mind enough to be able to pick up on the things that you did well and pick up on the things that you didn't do well. So one way to improving is by doing it, right? So you can't get good at the thing that you never do. Like an example I've used many times when I talk about the subject is my 14-year-old kid who's really gotten into fishing. And when he first started casting a rod, he's like, "Dad, I'm not very good at it." And he's getting frustrated. I'm like, "Buddy, well, you've never done this before, so how can you expect to be good at something that you've never done?" So that's one thing. So if you're sitting on the sidelines and you're not doing anything because you feel like you're not good, you're never going to get good unless you step onto the field of life, unless you step into this game and start to do the things and have the opportunity to learn through experience. But, some people don't learn through experience. They just go do it and they do it and they do it. And they're not, looking back and go, okay, what did I do well? How can I improve myself? What areas did I feel in that presentation? If I can look back at that. And here's the thing. It's hard to look back at a presentation or a conversation if you don't have a recording of it. So, even like pretty much every athlete, like professional athletes for sure do this. If they're watching their football game or they're watching their tennis match or they're watching their golf swing or whatever it is, and they're reviewing their game, they're reviewing the previous game that they just played or the match or whatever it is, depending on the sport we're talking about, they're looking at themselves and going, okay, well, I can see where I was taking the club in a weird angle, or I can see that, the way I cut, the way I move my feet on the football field, caused me to get tackled in that position. But you can't really, can you imagine running down with the ball on a football field and you're thinking, okay, how am I moving my feet? I'm moving my feet. Okay, it's really difficult to be able to review something while you're actually doing it. So you get good by doing it. You get good by taking a review or a recap of what you did and looking back and seeing if you can make improvements on that. For example, and I've talked like over and over and over again about this subject where, hey, if you this is a guaranteed pathway for improvement here when it comes to prospecting, recruiting, or speaking, or doing Facebook Lives and producing better video, is recording yourself, then looking back at it and reviewing it, so then you can kind of pick up on maybe some vocal flaws, or maybe right, or whatever it is that you say. But you're not going to be able to pick up on that while you're doing it. It's very, very difficult to pick up on it while you're doing it. So the pathway to improvement. Again, I want to share with you, in my belief, what it takes for you to lead to mastering a craft. So mastering a craft is being at the very top of your game. You can't be at the very top of your game if you don't do it. You can't be at the very top of your game if you don't take the time to recap and review the things that you did well and go, wow, I said that and that seemed to work really good. Maybe I should do that again. Or wow, I did this. Or whoa, holy smokes, the prospect totally turned off and they're ready to hang up on me. Or they turned cold on me because what was it that I said? Well, maybe when you were doing it, you couldn't pick up on what you said, but after you did it and you recorded yourself, wow, holy smokes, I said this. This is what happened. And now I'm not getting, now the person's, they hung up on me, literally hung up on me, for example. Well, why did they hang up on you? Well, I said this, and that led to the hang up, for example. So, having somebody who's an expert look at you. I was on the golf course like last week, and I was struggling with my golf swing, knowing the golf swing. And I understand the golf swing, but it's a matter of being able to implement the proper mechanics of the golf swing for me. Knowing it and then implementing it are two different things for me. So I had my golf coach behind me, and he literally, I said, hit a couple balls, because I'm getting frustrated because I can't fix it on my own. I'm even thinking about it. I'm reviewing. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? I'm grip, posture, stance, takeaway, hip rotation, all these different things that are involved in a golf swing, and I couldn't fix it myself. Even knowing the mechanics of the swing, I couldn't fix it myself. So I had someone who is better than me, who is an expert, look at my swing, and he was able to immediately pick up on it and go, hey, look, take the club to the top of your backswing. Okay, stop right there. Okay, do this, feel this. And I was like, oh yeah, no, I feel that for sure. So next thing you know, I'm hitting the ball better because I have an expert who is an expert in that thing, golf in this example, showing me or sharing with me what I needed to do to make those changes. You have access to experts that can help you. There's always going to be somebody that's better than you, that has more experience than you, that can look at what you're doing and give you some honest to goodness feedback so that you can make improvement. If I wanted to, if I got involved in network marketing today, brand new, and I wanted to be good at it, I'm going to look around. I'm like, who are the people that are good at it? What are they doing? I'm going to watch them. I'm going to study what they're doing. I'm going to keep an eagle eye on them and, make sure I'm observing and doing the best that I can to emulate what they're doing. It's one of the ways I began to make improvements early on in my network marketing career was literally through observation and just watching people and looking at what they were doing and going, okay, well, I'm gonna see if I can do it that way too. And this is the way this guy's talking. I'm gonna see if I can talk like that. This person carries themselves this way, and he makes more money than I do. I'm gonna try to carry myself that way. This is what I see he's saying to his prospects. I'm gonna see if I can try to say the same things to my prospects. So there's a number of things that you can do, but this is all balls in your court here, right? If you're gonna do this, in my opinion, why would you not want to do this well? If you're gonna do network marketing, do it. And do it good. Do it to the very best of your ability. Maybe your ability is here now, but if you're committed to improvement, then your ability is going to be here in a month or here in 6 months. And if your ability, your competence, your skill level, your knowledge is at a higher level, you're certainly going to have more confidence related to that. Something I talk about as well quite a bit is this competence-confidence relationship, right? Competence, skill level. If you have high skill, you're going to have high confidence. If you have low skill, you're going to have low confidence. So what we want to do is work on both of those, developing your competence, developing your skill level, your ability to do something well, and developing that confidence. And I do think that this game of network marketing is certainly a confidence game. Us having self-confidence, us having confidence in the profession, our company, our owners, our field leaders, all of these different things. Those are all mindset issues that cause us to do better when we're out in the marketplace. So again, getting to this level of mastering this craft, okay? You don't master a craft in a month, okay? You don't pick up the guitar and you've mastered it in 30 days. The people that we look at that are amazing on the guitar have played it for years and years and years and years, and they have their hands on the guitar all the time, and they're practicing all the time. Yet another thing that I talk about all the time is the concept of practice. For example, like sports. Most people growing up played some kind of sport. And every single sport, whether it was soccer, tennis, football, baseball, wrestling, or anything else for that matter, you had practice before the game. Practice prepared you for the game. It's like rehearsing as an actor. You rehearse before you are in the play, or the scene goes live and the cameras are rolling. That's called rehearsal. Rehearsal is practice for the actual game. Same thing that you did your whole life playing whatever sport it was that you played. You practice, which prepared you for the game. And the crazy thing about this profession, and I would say this probably irks me more than anything else, is the people that are saying, hey, I want to get good. I'm like, hey, well, if you want to get good, how much time have you spent practicing? If you want to get good at prospecting, do you spend any time practicing? Have you done any role playing and sitting down with another business partner and practicing an approach with somebody, and they say, I don't have the time, or I don't need to have the money, or I need to think about it, or how much money are you making, or whatever, or I don't do these things, or I don't like sales, or whatever the things might come up in a conversation. Have you practiced those ahead of time? How much time have you practiced this week? That's my question to you as I'm talking to you right now. And if your answer is, dude, I haven't practiced this week, I haven't practiced at all, then you're not doing the right things that are going to lead to improvement. So think about something. Think about this. If you're going to embark on a new endeavor and you're like looking at somebody in that endeavor, okay, network marketing, okay, I want to get good at this network marketing thing. How would you then get good at network marketing? Well, you would get good by doing it. You would get good by observing and watching other people. You would get good through practice. You would get good through time. You would get good through learning from your own experiences, the things that you did well, the things that you didn't do well. You would probably hire coaches or read books or attend events or do things that are in that line of work or that line of whatever it is that you're looking to get good at, and you would study it. You would read books on it. You would watch videos on it. You would observe the best of the best. Like when I think about things that I do outside of network marketing, like I love to fish, I love to ski, I love to play golf, and skiing. I would say I've mastered skiing. Okay, I've skied for 40 some odd years. Even skiing for 40 some odd years, I still feel like I have a room for improvement. So when I see better skiers than me, which honestly is not that often, but I do. I mean, I'm an expert skier. I've done it for a long period of time, and I see somebody making amazing carving turns down a groomer line, for example, and I'm watching their hip angulation, I'm watching their positioning on the slopes, how they're moving their body, and I'm like, okay, am I applying that? So I'm still thinking that, even though I've skied for over 40 years of my life. Now, other things that I'm not at that level at, like golf, and I've been playing a lot of golf. I've been working on my golf game. I'm watching other players. Like I have a guy that I play golf with quite a bit, and he's good. He's like a +1 or +2 handicap, which he generally shoots under par. And so I'm watching his setup, and this guy hits the ball like 80 yards past me on a drive. And I'm like, okay, it's not that I don't have strength, but this guy is like, he hits it so far. So when he's hitting the ball, I'm watching his setup, I'm watching his grip, I'm watching how far he takes the club back, I'm watching his hips, I'm seeing how I'm observing this expert in this game, and I'm doing my best to emulate it. I'll watch golf videos. I work with a golf coach. I do all these different things. I practice like crazy to improve my skills. And and there's something about practice. Like some people just go out and they just whack the ball. Like when I'm on the driving range and somebody comes up and the first club that they pull out of their bag is the driver, which you only hit maybe 10 or 12 times in a round of golf, and they just start swinging their driver. I'm thinking, well, that person isn't really intentional about their practice. And then I'll see another person come up. You can always kind of tell a low handicapper that's a good golfer versus a high handicapper. The way that they practice, they have this intentional way of practicing versus they just come up and they start swinging. I never pull up to the driving range and just immediately take a full swing. I'll start, getting with my tempo, doing some really short shots, kind of getting my back warmed up. I'll start with a pitching wedge or a sand wedge or something, and then I start getting more and more, kind of getting myself a little more fluid. Then I'll maybe change clubs in my bag. And when I'm shooting, I'm not just, hucking it out there to wherever it's going to land in the range. I'm looking at a specific landing point, and my objective is to get the ball to land in that specific point. So I'm thinking about all these things. And it's the same thing, like getting good at golf, getting good at network marketing, getting good at anything is the same thing. And so, and the other thing, again, it takes time. Like I can't expect, now here's the deal. I've played golf for over 20 years. Have I mastered the game of golf? No, I haven't. I still have not mastered, and I probably never will master the game of golf. But I've certainly dramatically improved from when I first started. I mean, I would hit a ball or whiff the ball. I wouldn't even hit the ball. I would miss it. And I would go out and I'd shoot 120. I'll go out now and I'll shoot, 80, 82, 78, 85, in that range. So I'm like a probably 10, 11 handicap currently, which is decent at golf. I mean, it's well above average. But it's taken me years to get to that point. Had I just showed up on the golf course and started whacking a ball on the golf course, I would still probably shoot 100. So working with coaches, finding somebody who can observe you, reading, studying. I think that you're observing, your inquisitive nature. That to me, like when I started network marketing, I wanted to be good at it. So I looked at other people that were good at it, and if they were doing something that was working, I asked them questions. Now, what are you doing? How are you doing? Where are you finding your prospects? What are you doing? What are you directing them to? What are you saying to them when you're engaging them in conversation? What are you doing on a follow-up with them? How are you closing those people? What are you doing after you sign those people up? I mean, I was like wanting to know. Those are all great things that are going to lead you to improvement. So now the ball's in your court. It's your decision. It's time for you to make the choice and decide, okay, am I going to do the things that are going to help me to get good at this game? So I don't know where you're at. Maybe you're on my YouTube channel. That's beautiful. If you're on my podcast, that's great. The rest of this episode, the details on this episode, you can find them right here at toddfalcone.com/episode 139. Again, toddfalcone.com/episode 139. Have an amazing day. We'll see you next time.